All right, guys, just setting up to do a workout here. Beautiful morning, 9:41 in the morning. I'll be running a class in about 20 minutes here. But I wanted to talk a little bit about fitness, training, and fat loss. So to simplify, fat loss is no difference than performance. If you're looking at building muscle and you're eating well, those are the two things. Training for high performance and eating well, right? Whether it is building muscle, let's say you're doing a fitness competition, you want to build some muscle, some definition, or you want to be a sprinter and you're eating well and you're doing sprints and you're doing interval training. It's not much different than outputting high performance and eating well and fat loss. They're all the same thing. So if you're working on just increasing your fitness and performance, you're also going to get that fat loss aspect. So a lot of times when I'm training clients, I say, don't even worry about fat loss. Don't even think about it. Don't even concern yourself with that. Because with the training and the proper nutrition, that's gonna come anyways. Okay, so that's an important thing to remember. Don't worry about the fat loss. Just worry about increasing human performance, right? And not everybody needs to be an athlete, and I'm sure not everybody wants to be an athlete, or perform like an athlete. But if you were to increase your ability to perform, then the body will shape the way it's being used, the way it's required to be used. If you want to be doing sprints and not hyperventilating and almost putting yourself into the hospital, well, you're going to have to train to be able to do that, right? So. And the body will shape itself in accordance to how your body is being used, right? So it's going to be like, okay, well, this weight is not advantageous to me. Let's remove some of the fat. Let's put on some muscle because that will be more effective for the body. All right. So the body will shape itself to the way it's being used. That's an important thing to keep in mind. Okay. So yeah. So increase your performance, and your body will shape itself in the way that it demands itself to form, I should say. Right. So don't worry about the fat loss. Just worry about increasing performance. And yeah, that's a good place to start. I mean, a lot of times it's about fat loss, but it's all the same thing. Okay. Training for performance, eating well is going to give you the fat loss. Okay. So just a quick thing here when you're training, and a lot of this is basic for a lot of people that have been doing it, but and I didn't want to teach it because I'm like, oh well, everybody should know this stuff. It's basic, it's common sense, but I have to realize that not everybody knows this stuff. At one point I was learning this stuff, so so I'm just gonna put it out there. If you already know it, great. If you don't, it's there for you. I'm gonna try to just stay consistent with teaching more of this stuff. It's something I love to do, so why not share it, right? Okay, so when you're doing reps for a workout, you're looking at 1 to 6 reps. A lot of times you're looking at like power lifters and stuff like that, and power lifters' objective is pretty much that one shot, that 1 rep max, whether it's a snatch or whatever, right? A clean, or and they're usually trying to do that one, okay? And it's as much as they can. So you're looking at a lot of times when you're doing strength, it's 1 to 6 reps. Okay, you're looking at strength. Power would be 1 to 6 reps. The next one would be 7 to 12 reps. You're looking at hypertrophy, so muscle size. A lot of times it's 7 to 12 reps. And then anything beyond that, 12 plus reps, is endurance and muscle density. But truth of the matter is, this is only a guideline, because you can actually put on size by just getting stronger, because obviously you need more muscle, right, to get more stronger and to output more power. So if you think like, a lot of times you think like a sprinter. A lot of these guys are big guys. They look like bodybuilders, right? And they're all about that burst, right? So, and then the same thing with endurance. You might see somebody like a gymnast who's all about muscle endurance and control. But these guys, a lot of times, these guys look like bodybuilders too, right? So, and you know, even though the rep range is 7 to 12 for hypertrophy, I've actually managed to put on muscle size in the endurance portion as well. So, high number of reps. So, this is a good guideline because your body will actually use different muscle types. So, there's two types of muscles: there's fast twitch and slow twitch. Okay, so depending on if you're doing, you know, your 1 rep max or you're doing an endurance, you're going to be activating different sets of muscles. So we have everybody has a different ratio of these two, an endurance muscle and the power muscle. I'm just going to call it that. Okay, so just for a better reference point. So you have your endurance muscle and your power muscle. So depending on what you're doing, you're going to be activating that first. But the reason why you can actually get, you know, you could be getting greater muscle size even though you're doing endurance. The reason for that is because when one begins to fail, the other one starts to pick up the slack. So if you're burning out your power muscle, then eventually your endurance muscle is going to have to kick in and pick up the slack. So you can actually gain more. You can do endurance and still get muscle size. And you can still get more muscle strength, even though you're doing. Obviously, you're building more muscle, so you're going to get stronger, and because you're building more muscle, you're going to get more hypertrophy. So the amount that you'd get would vary depending on which you focus on. Although you would actually get a little bit of all of them, whichever one you focus on, that's going to be the emphasis of what you get in return. So it's not like you can't get more stronger by doing endurance. It's not like you can't put on size by just working on strength, or you can't get more power by, you know, working on hypertrophy. Okay, so now if we're talking about functionality, that's different. Okay, having more muscle doesn't mean that you can execute proper control and movement until that movement is practiced. It's a potential power, right? But that's a whole different thing. But for now, if we're talking about just strictly the function of the muscle and the growth of the muscle, this would be what we're talking about. Okay, so 1 to 6 would be, the emphasis would be power and strength. Okay, 7 to 12 would be hypertrophy for muscle size, muscle growth, mass, if you're looking for mass. And then 1 to 12 would be muscle endurance and density. Okay, but keep in mind, like I said, this is a guideline because this is not what you get exactly, as you kind of get all of them, but what is the focus? Okay, so we'll leave it as that for today, and yeah, hopefully that helps you guys out. All right, so don't think about fat loss, think about human performance, think about eating a clean diet, healthy diet, and then this is just kind of a pointer for if you're training, you kind of have an understanding of what's going on. You know, why I'm doing these number of reps and these number of sets or whatever. Okay, because I find sometimes the trainers, if you guys are working with a trainer, you'll go in or you'll find a program in a book or whatever, and it'll say do this number of reps, this number of sets, and you don't really know why, you're just kind of doing it. So, but at least you know that, does this program meet my criteria? Does it meet the goals that I want to attain? And then you'll kind of understand it. Okay, so you can actually put, you know, variations into your program. So you can go, you can put a little bit of power, you can put a little bit of hypertrophy, and then a little bit of endurance, or you can break it up into different days where you work on endurance and different days for working on power and strength. So I mean, it's entirely up to you, but this kind of gives you a guideline and an understanding on exactly why you're doing these number of sets and reps. All right. So I hope that is some good information for you guys. And yeah, so I'm going to try to be consistent with this, post up more information for you guys on fitness. I understand this, a lot of times I didn't want to teach this because it just felt so basic, but I'm going to start right from the basics, and hopefully that helps you guys out. All right, see you later, guys.